really hard. I mean, that's the other thing now that is so unique about that trip, is that there's just so little. Well, we can't have a bigger team because the conditions don't really support, like, you know, there was many times where 2 people would go across a section of ice and then it's totally deteriorated. So a third person can barely get across. And so we can't have a film crew, plus it's prohibitively expensive. It's just dangerous. So the filming part of it is super hard. Bringing the equipment, making sure that it's durable enough to withstand those temperatures, taking care of it so that we can actually use it, charging the batteries in that weather. I mean, everything about it, just getting our camera out and like not having our hand freeze while we're holding the camera. I mean, everything about it sucks. And yet we do it every day. And so that kind of goes hand in hand with that overall mission, which is like trying to tell that story and connecting people to that place. I mean, I've had several close encounters with polar bears, which is always a little scary. I think in 2014, my partner Ryan Waters, he fell into the ice, into the water, and he fell into about here. And that was just scary on a couple levels. One, because, I mean, that's like hypothermia in just a couple of minutes, and then, you know, if that's not corrected, you're dead. But I was kind of right next to him, but there was thin ice in between me and him, and so I literally just watched him plunge into the ice and could not do anything. And so that feeling of helplessness, when you see your partner and your friend just like in a near-death situation.
Gosh, yeah.
And there was actually probably one of the most difficult things of that trip, which is a little bit of a mind, you know what, is that we were running out of fuel. And so we knew we probably had enough fuel to finish our trip potentially, but we wouldn't have any sort of buffer for our pickup. And so if we would have had to wait there for a couple of days, we couldn't have melted any snow. We couldn't have cooked our food or whatever. And it may not seem like that big of a deal, but that's like Russian roulette, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And so how that plays out is every day we're skiing along in the ice and we're like, we can just hopefully call for a pickup. And we're in this margin of safety right now. And we know that to keep going is to be way outside of that margin. So it's just this huge gamble. You know, and just because of this little thing of our fuel and being able to melt snow.
Yeah. Wow.
So that overall, I mean, like the polar bear encounters, falling through the ice, is like, it happens, you deal with it, and then you move on. And these other things are just like become these physical burdens weighing on you that you don't know you can't manage. And that weighs on you even more so, because you have the ability to play it safe, but you're not out there necessarily to be safe all the time. And so that's very stressful. You know, I get a lot of inquiries about people who want to do bigger expeditions, whether it be mountaineering or polar style expeditions or any kind of expeditions. And I do think, I think everybody has the ability to do kind of difficult style trips, whatever they may be. And I would say, yeah, definitely start small. You know, learn skills. I would also say, like, try to do all that stuff out of the kind of prying eyes of social media. I think people are really afraid to make mistakes now. And so I got lucky because when I was in my 20s, social media didn't even exist, either the digital cameras for that matter. And so I was able to go out and do trips because I was interested in something. And, you know, we froze our boots and got lost and looked stupid, but we learned these super valuable lessons. And so I'd really encourage people to go out and do trips and try things and make mistakes, and don't be afraid to always look perfect, because I feel like, you know, for me, I've learned so much more from my mistakes even than I have from my successes. So that would be my one of my biggest pieces of advice.